This is a special video for 6th Digimonth where I'll be reading the first 5 parts of Chapter 1 of Digimon Seekers. If you would like to continue the story, there will be a link to the official website as well as the translation by Jose Churape. The text on screen will be the translation exactly as is, including grammar or spelling errors. Occasionally I will differ from the written text to say it correctly. Please enjoy Digimon Seekers. Chapter 1. Eiji, Wolf of 9th Avenue. Part 1. The Beginning. Hungry snarls echo off the tunnel walls. Heavy hurried steps crash onto loose gravel. Thick black claws dig deep into the earth as they reach through the darkness. An old light flickers. Its dirty yellow light washes over a large dinosaur. For that moment, its red scales shine and the light catches the glint of hungry blue eyes. The creature snarls as another light reveals its figure. The creature looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but not like the ones you'd see in a museum. Thick black stripes decorate its body, and a row of pale emerald scales run down its back. Behind it, 2 identical beasts follow. A subway car zooms past the trio, illuminating them for moments before leaving them to continue their pursuit in spotted darkness. The Tyrannomon are on a mission. A tiny shadow scurries ahead of them. With each passing moment, the Tyrannomon inch closer to their prey. The scent grows stronger with each talon full of gravel. Their fangs blare as foamed drool drips down prehistoric jaws. Their prey is trapped. The first Tyrannomon lets out as he lunges, but a passing train brings it to a halt. Gravel and dirt shoot from under it. The panging of pebbles against the metal is heard briefly before the screeching of the wheels drowns it out. Dusk and dirt kick around the lead Tyrannomon as the remaining 2 come to a stop behind it. They pace impatiently for the few seconds it takes for the train to pass them. They waste no time continuing their chase. This was their turf. There was no getting away. The Tyrannomon move deeper into the tunnels. Darkness settles around them heavily. There are no lights to shine a path, but they don't need them. Instinct guides them through the shadows. Talons sink into a cold, thick liquid. The sensation slows them, but the Tyrannomon do not stop. They wade furiously through the sewage. The putrid rotting scent of the canal begins to mask the scent of their prey. They stop, taking a long sniff at the air in search of the eluding scent. Suddenly, the sound of gusting air appears in the darkness. Before Tyrannomon can react, a tornado forms around their leader. The water around it kicks up into an angry whirlpool before sending the Tyrannomon flying. It lands on its back, its stomach left vulnerable as the waves from the landing settle around it. It struggles to return to its feet. A shockwave of energy pierces into Tyrannomon's stomach, leaving behind a deep hole. The Tyrannomon lays there motionless as its bright blue eyes grow pale and lifeless. Eiji moves through the lobby of a fast food burger joint to grab a seat by the window. He carries with him a small Coke he got free with a coupon. He looks out the window and watches the people walking below him. Behind him, a digital 3D pop-up advertises the restaurant's newest burger. "Don't forget to supersize it," the mascot commands as it enjoys the last bite of its burger. The advertisement trails off and is replaced with a generic Pandora station as it fills the lobby with soft music. Eiji pulls out his phone from his jacket. "Let's see if there's any work," he says to himself. Aside from a few people sitting in the booths away from him, there was no one around to hear him. Eiji logs into his Grimm account and begins scrolling through the threads. Grimm is the world's most popular social network. Most people use Grimm for its normal social network features like chatting, streaming, and message boards. Grimm's most distinctive feature is its support for the proprietary cryptocurrency Digicoin, or DC. But like anything that exists on the net, there are parts of Grimm that are quite illegal. For freelancers like Eiji, having a Grimm account is mandatory. Grimm is where freelancers find job postings, sales, and other tools of the trade. Eiji scrolls through the job listings as he mutters to himself. He scrolls over an image of a black Agumon. 100 million DC for the capture? It was a lot more money than he made on his usual hunts. The bounty excites as he thinks about all the meat he'll get to eat. He swishes the Coke in his other hand as his stomach grumbles. But Eiji's heart begins to sink as he begins to read over the comment section. Instead of helpful tips, it was full of trolls and people asking for money. Grimm is a dumpster fire, but a necessary one. Eiji stares out the window as he debates taking the assignment. Maybe this is some sort of urban legend. An Agumon isn't worth 1 million, and if it were black, it wouldn't be an Agumon. A faint beeping interrupts his trance. "My Tyrannomon!" Eiji shouts involuntarily. A group of high school students sitting at the other end of the restaurant turn to stare at Eiji. Eiji doesn't notice as he fiddles with the palm-sized LCD screen in his hand. Eiji puts down his phone to focus on the small, toy-like device in his hand. A deformed pixel version of Tyrannomon fills the screen. There is an X on its eyes, and its vitals are gone. Gah, I'm so stupid, Eiji growls. He'd become too distracted, and it was going to cost him. Stupid, 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 he grumbles. The two remaining Tyrannomon look up from the LCD screen at Eiji, then at each other in confusion. Eiji starts pressing the keys on the screen, replacing the downed Tyrannomon and entering new commands. Capture the target or no food for you, Eiji growls at the Tyrannomon. If the Tyrannomon doesn't capture the target, he won't get to eat either. Such is the life of a freelancer. The high schoolers shift in their seats as they steal awkward glances at Eiji. They find it strange to see him so worked up over a game. But this isn't a game for Eiji. Eiji is a code cracker, and this is his job. Eiji continues furiously entering commands into the small device. Tool settings, capture, reassign target to Motoki Betamon. You'll pay for underestimating Cracker Fang, Eiji says, referring to himself as his alias. Eiji clicks the execute button. The Tyrannomon disappears from the screen. Eiji takes a sip from the half-empty paper cup. Moments later, a chime sounds. Eiji looks down at the LCD screen and smiles. The Tyrannomon have captured their prey. Eiji picks up his phone and continues to scroll through Grimm as he finishes his drink. Chapter 1, Part 2, Aberdeen Electronics. Tokyo University of Electrical and Computer Engineering is a world leader in research and innovation. The school started as a government-funded program in an effort to promote the advancement of science and technology for the benefit of society. Despite being a newer institution, the university has earned prestige through its advanced research in the field. The campus is also home to the world-renowned Aberdeen Electronics Corp, or AE. AE leads the industry in electronic terminals, network equipment, and fabless semiconductors. The site is also where you find the Aberdeen Electronics Lab, DDL, a world-famous research and development lab. Eiji walks into the DDL to find a bare room with only a reception desk and a small metal bench sitting across it. There are no visible logos or markings to suggest the building was connected to AE, except for a large display mounted on the wall. The display loops peaceful videos of nature to serene music, occasionally ending in one of Aberdeen Electronics' promotional videos. Aberdeen Electronics Corp. Discovering the impossible. The video trails off. The line makes Eiji smirk as he continues to make his way towards the front desk. The cute girl behind the desk watches Eiji suspiciously. She is shorter than Eiji, with thick short hair tucked at the collar. She is dressed plainly in her receptionist's uniform. Before Eiji could say a word, the girl says, "This is a research facility. If you are looking for the school, it's out those doors and on the left." It was a speech she's made too often. Eiji is dressed in his usual casual attire and looks out of place among the well-dressed professionals that occasionally walk around him. He can't help but feel out of place. He smiles warmly. "Hi there, I have an appointment. Do you want me to sign in?" The receptionist studies Eiji for a moment before handing him a tablet. A camera stares down at Eiji as he picks up the tablet and begins to fill out the form. The receptionist looks confused and slightly annoyed by the information as it appears on her screen. "Your name is Fang?" she asks incredulously. "It's an alias. I use it for work." "Are you a streamer?" "No." Fang is Eiji's code name. Most code crackers use them on the job. It was to keep anonymity in a field that wasn't always on the legal side. "Please use your real name," the receptionist replies flatly. Eiji updates his information on the tablet before setting it down. "Is that all you need from me?" Eiji reads over her nameplate. "Hatsune?" Hatsune turns to her computer and begins typing away. "Don't be so casual." "Sure thing, Hatsune." Hatsune's temples give an involuntary twitch. "If you are here on company business, I need your company's name." "I don't have a company yet." Hatsune doesn't seem to appreciate the response. Instead, she continues to look annoyed as she waits for an answer. "I'm sort of a freelancer. I'm here to see... Oh, what's his department?" Eiji's voice trails off as he pulls out his phone and begins scrolling through his messages. "I'll just wait for him over here." His voice trails off as he walks towards the bench. Eiji clicks on the contact. "Tomonori Ryusenji, Professor." "I'm here," the message reads. Eiji takes a seat. A few people wait with him. He begins to scroll through his phone as the serene lobby music plays around him. "Fang!" a voice calls from behind the security gate. Eiji turns to see Professor Ryusenji waving at him. The professor was a chiseled man with graying hair. He must be in his 60s, but he looks younger. Everyone in the lobby is surprised by the professor's sudden appearance. "Hello, Professor," Eiji says as he walks over to greet him. Professor Ryusenji is one of the founders of Aberdeen Electronics. He owns more than 20% of the company shares and is worth around 100 billion, making the professor one of the world's richest people. Professor Ryusenji's work has been instrumental in making Aberdeen Electronics a world-class company since its inception some 20 years ago. It's nice to finally meet you, Fang, but it feels like we've known each other well enough already. The professor shakes Eiji's hand. The two have been talking over the phone for a while now, but this is the first time meeting in person. Eiji fires back an untrusting smile. Eiji Nagasumi, it's a pleasure. Well, Fang, Eiji, let's get going. Sorry for all the trouble. He stops. Were you able to get your guest pass? The professor looks over to Eiji. Before Eiji has a chance to answer, the professor continues, I'll get you one, as he walks over to the desk. Hatsune is confused by the request. She looks over Eiji, then back at the professor before working on the guest pass. Oh, and I'm going to D4. Eiji here is my guest. Excuse me, sir? The board gave their approval this morning. Oh, right. Understood. Hatsune taps away at the terminal. Pass in hand, the two make their way towards the gate. The guards look at Eiji and nod as they walk through the metal detector. Eiji feels like a real professional, as the pass hangs comfortably over his neck. They pass by employees and researchers who warmly greet the pair. Eiji does his best to keep up as he returns smiles and greetings. Eiji couldn't help but enjoy the attention. It made him feel important. Why do they call you professor instead of president or chairman? Because professor describes me best. Ryusenji enjoyed research more than he enjoyed running a company. He had already left management to his formal subordinates so he could focus on his projects. Before we go to the office, there is something I would like you to see. Follow me. Eiji agrees as he becomes filled with curiosity. They take an elevator to the next floor and cross another guarded gate. A large metal plate on top of the gate reads D4. It is a strange-looking building that seems to exist on its own. This is our secret department. It's where we keep our most important work, the professor explains. After a rigorous search, Eiji is forced to leave his phone and personal belongings at the gate. Eiji enters the room nervously and asks, What is it? The professor smiles. It's an experience. Chapter 1, Part 3. Digimon are alive. Eiji finds himself in a domed room, staring at a massive hologram of networks swimming around his head. He stood surrounded by game servers, social networks, and cat photos, all presented to him in almost tangible clumps of code and data. The professor smiles as Eiji is left speechless by the impressive display. Before them, a hologram produces a map of a strange yet familiar-looking world. While not the best rendering, it was beautiful nonetheless. It was a world separated by distinct biomes, a world with islands and continents, mountains and oceans. Welcome to the digital world, a warm mechanical voice begins. A world that exists outside the sea of networks, a world inhabited by digital monsters known as Digimon. Suddenly, a new hologram begins to materialize before Eiji. At first glance, the monster looks like a frog, or rather a tadpole on the verge of becoming a frog. The creature is green with black stripes that make it resemble a watermelon. A dorsal fin runs down its back, a single sharp claw stems from its arms and legs, and its tail rests lazily behind it. Sharp, exaggerated fangs spill out of its mouth, and its red eyes stare down at Eiji. Below the Digimon, words appear reading, Betamon, child, amphibian, virus type. Digimon are living AI, the recording continues. Living AI? Eiji thinks. Is that really possible? Digimon can resemble living, mythical, and theological beings. They can take the form of mammals, plants, insects, machines, and even gods. The hologram cycles through visual representations to aid its explanations. Digimon can evolve. Throughout its life, a Digimon will exist in one of 5 stages: baby, child, adult, perfect, and ultimate form. Digimon are our way of interacting with the digital world, Professor Ryusenji chimes in over the recording. This new world suddenly appeared on our network, and it has since helped prop up humanity. Digimon have played an important part in revolutionizing society. The application of Digimon as AI tools has led to remarkable discoveries in different fields like software development, cryptographic security, and even medicine. The professor is unable to hide his passion. However, he says in a sudden change of tone, there's a lot we don't know about Digimon or the digital world. Most people don't even know it exists. The dome begins to vibrate as an electric buzz begins to fill the room. The images in front of them disappear. Even if they did, the professor continues, they wouldn't understand. Most people aren't ready to understand. The dome continues to shift around them. Suddenly, the pair find themselves inside of the cabin of a passenger plane. The flight is full. The engine roars as it carries the plane over clumps of clouds. There are two sides to this new world. While Digimon have been instrumental in important scientific advancements, there are people who will misuse them as weapons. The professor's voice trails off. The scene starts to play around them. One passenger films the cabin with his smartphone. In the seats next to him, his wife and daughter sleep soundly. The serenity of the cabin is suddenly interrupted by a deafening roar. Eiji is startled by the sudden outburst. The cabin erupts into chaos with a sudden flood of noise followed by an ominous silence. The scene starts to go dark as the camera begins to shake violently. An alarm starts to sound as the oxygen masks come down. Panicked screams mixed with the confusion and... Eiji averts his eyes. He can't watch anymore. Tears start to fall from his shut eyes as the scene continues to play around him. The airplane begins to lose altitude. It crashes through the clouds and falls out of the sky. Eiji follows the professor to his lab. He tries to shake off the sadness of what he saw and gets serious. Inside, it looks like an ordinary university laboratory with tables filled with parts and unfinished gadgets. On the wall are shelves crammed with tools, materials, and cardboard boxes. One of the walls is made of glass, revealing an empty hallway. The two are alone except for the occasional whirring of machines. Ryusenji inspects the palm-sized gadget Eiji brought with him, a digital dock. Wonderful, the professor says as he inspects the device. He is visibly impressed by Eiji's work. Ryusenji connects Eiji's dock to the lab equipment. The Digimon Eiji captured appears in a hologram. It is a familiar-tailed frog-like creature. A Motoki Betamon, just as I requested. Look at how beautiful and gentle it looks. Ryusenji smiles widely as he continues to study the creature. Eiji scoffs at the remark. It took 4 Tyrannomon to capture it. Eiji sets his belongings on the table. Ryusenji continues to study the Betamon. Wow, sounds rough, he says flatly. Eiji remembers the fight. The cornered Betamon fighting back furiously. The shockwave emitted from the creature's dorsal fin, and the Tyrannomon lost in the process. This Betamon is different from the others. Eiji begins his appeal. How do you mean? Ryusenji seems miffed. He looks at the Betamon. Oh, you don't know the difference between Betamon and Motoki Betamon? Eiji shakes his head in embarrassment. He didn't like disappointing his clients. Is it the color? That's it, the professor exclaims. So you do know the difference. I'll make sure you get a bit of bonus with your reward. Thank you so much. Eiji's mouth begins to water at the thought of meat for dinner. It's been a while since he could afford meat. Or any food, really. The professor seemed satisfied. He begins to transfer the Motoki Betamon data into the strange device. Ryusenji turns to Eiji and asks, I've been meaning to ask, what did you think of our little experience from earlier? Earlier? Eiji shakes himself from his meat bowl dream. Oh, you mean the video in D4? It was amazing. That was a promotional video for our planned Digimon Land. The idea was to sell Digimon as characters to the general public to help educate them on the digital world. Eiji's imagination begins to race with ideas for Digimon AI. I especially liked the bit about Digimon being AI creatures. If I were a kid, I'd be hooked. Ryusenji shakes his head as he turns his attention to Eiji. You don't understand. His hand lands on Eiji's shoulder. Digimon are alive. Chapter 1, Part 4. The Job Offer. Digimon are alive. The words linger in dead air. Eiji breaks the silence with an involuntary chuckle. It'd be cool if Digimon were alive. Lots of people have Digimon. Some folks keep them as pets and others collect them. Digimon are useful tools. Eiji thinks of his Tyrannomon. Tyrannomon are popular with code crackers because they were common and easily caught. Most Digimon that exist are code traded, bought, and sold between people on Grimm. Ryusenji responds, somewhat lost in thought. So, when will Digimon Land be ready? Where are you going to build it? Ryusenji snaps out of his thought as a look of disappointment fills his face. He begins to shake his head. We had to stop development on Digimon Land. Permanently. Seriously? The park presented many challenges, some of which were impossible to overcome. There's a reason why the digital world must be kept a secret. People aren't ready. Eiji thinks about the plane crash. He can still hear the screams and the terrible sound of the plane slicing through the air as it fell. There are bad people out there, Eiji. People who will misuse Digimon. Digimon crime started small. A game server would crash, or a website would get overloaded, but they were brushed off as pranks. Soon, the news started trickling in about identity theft and random acts of terrorism. You saw what happened to that plane. There are already people committing Digimon crime at a concerning scale, but the world leaders and international organizations are covering it up. Ryusenji takes a moment to compose himself. His hands shake from the anger, but slowly still. Can you imagine what would happen if a criminal used one of the park's mascots for an act of cyber terrorism? Can you imagine this scandal? Publicizing the digital world means publicizing Digimon crimes, and the world just isn't ready. Imagine the panic that would cause. AG nods his head as he listens. I can hear the news outlets' fear-mongering headlines, the professor continues. Digimon are coming for your freedom. More on this at 11. Ryusenji looks flustered as his rank grows angry. It is short-sighted to assume all Digimon are evil. People just aren't ready to understand. The professor's words trail off, turning into an incoherent rant. Professor? AG asks, attempting to bring him back. The professor wakes from his trance and remembers where he is. There is another world beyond the network where Digimon are alive. The real world and the digital world both coexist. Do you want to see it? Yes, of course, AG replies with a hint of skepticism clinging to his words. He'd only known the digital world through the black and white screen of his palm-sized device he made from salvaged parts. Do you know why what I'm telling you is top secret? Because it's real? Ryusenji smiles as he nods. Yes, that was real footage from the digital world. AG looks at the Motoki Betamon on the screen. It's alive. He thinks of the Tyrannomon he's been using. They're alive too. They're all alive. That is why I've devoted my life to studying Digimon. To D4. The transfer of Motoki Betamon is complete. The professor unhooks AG's handmade device and looks over it once more. AG moves forward with his arm extended. Thank you. Ryusenji tosses AG's Digimon dock to a nearby bin. AG moves quickly and catches the dock before crashing into the trash can and stumbling to the floor. AG spent a lot of time building it. Even though it was made from mostly junked parts, it cost him a lot of money. What are you doing? His face still recovering from the sting. There was an error in the memory. Seriously? AG couldn't believe it. The memory had never been an issue. Ryusenji was a Digimon collector, and like most collectors, he was precocious about his collection. My research requires Digimon data to be perfect, or else it's worthless. That Motoki Betamon data was nearly destroyed. That doesn't mean you need to throw it away. It may be worthless to you, but this stuff is expensive. I don't have the funding of a huge corporation or access to expensive equipment. AG snaps as he looks over his device for signs of damage. Ryusenji ignores AG's outburst. He seems preoccupied on a new thought. Hello? AG waves, trying to regain his attention. The man may be a genius, but he had no right. Sorry about that, the professor replies suddenly. You just gave me an idea. Let me see your left arm. My arm? AG studies the professor suspiciously. Ryusenji stands over him, flashing an eager smile. AG offers his arm up cautiously. Ryusenji attaches something to AG's wrist. AG looks down and finds a stylish smartwatch wrapped around his wrist. The sight of the gift makes him tear up. It's been a while since he's gotten a gift. He fights back the tears. He wanted to be professional. It's Aberdeen Electronics' latest Digimon dock. Make sure you take care of it, AG. AG studies his gift. AE products were top of the line and highly sought after by code crackers. AG could only dream of owning AE parts, but here he stands with the latest model strapped to his wrist. Now this is just a prototype I've been working on, so there might be some bugs. AG manages to rip his gaze from the watch. This is amazing, Professor, thank you. The watch starts cycling through the startup process. It has a biometric vital sensor. Only you will be able to use it, the professor explains. Just for me? AG can't hide his excitement. The professor nods. It can record your pulse, blood pressure, and other medical data. Most importantly, it supports Digimon hololization. Digimon hololization is only allowed at the DLL and a few other facilities, but this is a special exception. AG is too excited to hear the explanation. He continues to turn over the watch to appreciate it from every angle. But here's the thing, the professor begins. AG's heart sinks. Of course there's a catch. He knew better than to think there wouldn't be a catch, but he also wasn't ready to depart with his new watch. I want to see what the famous Cracker Fang can do with it the next time I ask him for a favor. You got it, Chief. That was fast. Good. I like that about you. Ryusenji takes AG's arm and presses the switch on the side of the Digimon linker. The screen begins to glow a faint green. A mysterious flame flickers across the screen before vanishing into black. Words scroll past the watch reading Lugamon, Child, Dark Beast, Virus Type. AG looks at the strange Digimon occupying his screen. A small blue... It's a dog? AG asks starry-eyed. AG passes through the security gate alone. The professor's words echo in his head. Digimon are alive. The digital world is real. Eiji passes the reception desk. Oh, good evening. This time Hatsune speaks to him first. Eiji turns away from his watch. Do I return the pass here? Yes, please. Put it here. Thank you very much, she says, pointing at a small basket in front of her. As Eiji returns the pass, he notices Hatsune eyeing his watch curiously. The professor gave it to me. It's a Digimon dock. Eiji shows off his watch. Hatsune scurries around the desk. She grabs his hand to get a closer look and whispers, Isn't that the newest model? I thought those were top secret. Eiji is surprised by how well informed Hatsune is. It's just a prototype. The professor asked me to test it for him. Wow, that's impressive, Hatsune says, re-examining Eiji. The professor must really trust you. You think so? Absolutely. Hatsune lowers her voice. The professor is so strange. He wouldn't give this to just anyone. He is peculiar, isn't he? Eiji blurts out. Eiji is surprised by Hatsune's sudden change in attitude. She is a lot nicer towards him now. I'll see you later? Sure, Nagasumi. You can call me Eiji. Likewise, you can call me Hatsune or whatever. Oh, this is your admission record. I noticed you left your occupation blank. If you don't mind, what should I put down? My occupation? Eiji thinks for a bit before declaring proudly. I'm a code cracker. Chapter 1, Part 5. Thunder is the sound of the police. There are two major ways to obtain Digimon. The first is by capturing them with a special AI tool. The other is by hatching them from eggs known as Digitama. Digimon aren't like the animals we are familiar with. Digimon have no gender and don't reproduce. When a Digimon dies, it leaves behind data. Think of this data like a Digimon's soul. This data moves through the digital world and becomes a new Digimon somewhere else. It's sort of like reincarnation, but there is still a lot we don't know about Digimon ecology. It's night. The dark sky is full of stars, and there is a stillness that echoes over the ruins. A closer inspection of the sky reveals that the sky isn't full of stars, but the flowing data between the interconnecting networks that exist above the firewall. Below the sky sits ruins covered by mounds of garbage. Between it sits a putrid, rotting sea of rusted sludge. It breaks against a shore filled with sand of a similar color. Bubbles form on the surface and pop, releasing a vile odor into the air. How did this land become so rotted? A theory suggests that data from the real world accumulates here and poisons the land. Without natural defenses against this foreign data, the land is left to decay. Ill-intentioned men roam within this rotted canvas, but so do the police who exist to stop them. A schematic of the area appears on the virtual monitor. Below it, the words, "The Last Coast," blink in a simple font. Whoever named it had an odd sense of humor. In recent years, it's become a hotspot for poachers. Digitama sometimes wash up on these bloody shores, and they can be sold for a decent amount of Digicoin on Grim. The police radio crackles. We have a suspicious Digimon in sight. A red dot appears on the virtual map. It's an unidentified Digimon. Tamahime here. Continue the search with caution. Understood. Looks like an Espimon. Child, cyborg, virus type. Tamahime watches the screen as the video from the search team starts to come in. Got it. So it's like a tin toy? The Digimon looks like a retro robot toy. It has a large domed head like a snowman with long metal robotic arms. It propels through the air on the rockets it has for legs. 4 bodies total, the voice reports. We've got code crackers. These bots are toast. Code crackers loved using Digimon, and cyborg-type Digimon are the easiest to control. These Digimon were sent here with the commands to search the area for Digitama. If this were a real server, the Digimon would be looking for secrets or personal information. Here, the code crackers are looking for scraps. How many Digitama did you get? One of the Espimon asks. Only one so far, the other responds. The culprits don't know their chat room has been hacked. The police listen in on the conversation. The voices are young. They must be kids in high school. To them, it's probably just a game, a way to practice, the first step to becoming real code crackers. What are you going to do, Deputy Leader? Satsuki Tamahime analyzes the virtual map as the team waits for her orders. Police can't pick and choose which criminals to go after. Arrest them. 10 green dots move quickly surrounding the unsuspecting Espimon. Jam their comms. Commandramon squads move in. Cut off their escape. Many voices reply in unison. Understood. The Espimon continue their search. The code crackers wouldn't be aware of the ambush either. They most likely don't even know where their Digimon are. The only thing the code crackers see are crude pixel images on simple LCD screens. But the police have more advanced tech than the rudimentary Digimon docks the code crackers use. Satsuki can see everything through the eyes of her Digimon. How dare you? How dare you code crackers come here? Her warning rings. The Commandramon stand up, and the Espimons find themselves surrounded. Commandramon, child, cyborg, virus type, are standard issue for the Digipolice. They look like dragon men. They wear helmets and body armor with the word police written on them. Each Commandramon carries an assault rifle. Commandramon's skin emits an electronic camouflage that lets them blend into their surroundings. This allows them to approach undetected. All that was left to do was to make the arrests. "Who is that?" asks one of the panicked codecrackers. "It's the Digipolice! Run!" It is too late. Satsuki continues. "Stop resisting. There is no escape. We already have your school and names. There is no escape." "Arrested? On what charges? We've done nothing wrong," one of the voices responds. "You are in violation of the Unauthorized Computer Access Prevention Act, the Basic Network Act, and the Digital Vandalism Prevention Act, and for the poaching of Digitama," Satsuki says bluntly. "The Japanese police don't have jurisdiction in the digital world." Satsuki sighs. Her Digimon, who had been hiding underwater, surfaces. The sirens blare. The red patrol lights start to rotate. The Espimon tremble at the sight. Satsuki continues. "You are all Japanese citizens, and as long as you are committing crimes, you are going to be in trouble with the Japanese police." The Espimon press a red button on their belly and vanish in an instant. Vanishing magic? No. It's their AI defense protocol, optical camouflage. The Commandramon fire at the space where the Espimon were, but the bullets find no target. They slip past the police unnoticed. "Mechanorimon!" As soon as Satsuki gives the order, 2 large robots appear behind her. Mechanorimon stand larger than the fleeing Espimon and the Commandramon they served with. These are the Digipolice's special purpose vehicles. Each Mechanorimon has a Commandramon piloting it. A twinkling beam erupts from one of the Mechanorimon, grazing one of the Espimon. It erupts into a flurry of sparks as its camouflage dissolves. The Espimon falls onto the beach. The remaining 3 Espimon continue to flee, unaware that they are now visible. "Don't let them get away. Fire!" "The weapons are still charging. We won't be able to catch all of them," the Mechanorimon unit responds.
Petite impulse.
Suddenly, a bolt of lightning crashes into the rusty coast between. The bolt of lightning catches the police off guard. "The Espimon?" a confused voice reacts from the radio. One of the Espimon is left blackened, melted under the lightning's heat. Bolts of lightning come down for the remaining 2. "What's going on?" A new marker appears on the screen. It sits there, motionless. A yellow Digimon stands over the deactivated Espimon. "Is that Pulsemon?" The Commandramon squad points their guns. A voice comes in over the police radio. "Looks like you just got beat by the hacker Judge," says a familiar voice. "Orders?" "Judge!" Pulsemon glances at Satsuki's Digimon and blows her a kiss before turning into a bolt of lightning and disappearing into the sea of networks. "God damn it!" Satsuki bangs her fist on the table. "Squad leader?" The Commandramon wait for orders. Satsuki shakes in anger. "We've got the Espimon and Digitama. We'll leave the rest to the police." "And the Pulsemon?" "Leave it. You can't catch him anyways. Pack it up. There's no overtime." "Yes, ma'am." "Uh-huh." The radio goes silent for a moment. "The Digitama. They're gone." Thank you for listening to the first 5 parts of Chapter 1 of Digimon Seekers. Once again, you can find links to the official website as well as the translation I used in the description below. If you are familiar with my content, you'll know that while this is a bit different from what I usually do, there is certainly a lot of games where I do all the reading in a similar way. So if you enjoyed this, consider my other Digimon playthroughs for more like this one.